District Governor Iqbal Qureshi of District 3271 and my brothers and sisters in Rotary and those not in Rotary yet, but I hope will be in the future. Let me say it's wonderful to be here in Karachi at this foundation dinner. You know, it's one of the great privileges of being a Rotary leader that one gets a chance to travel to events such as this one, to go all over the world, meeting all kinds of wonderful people who have come to know each other through Rotary. And I find that when I sit down and start talking to someone new, just talking to get to know each other, there is always a sharing of Rotary stories. It is really a great way to get to know someone else, to hear their Rotary stories and to tell your own. And so, if you will allow me, I'd like to tell you a Rotary story of my own. Not about myself, but about a little girl I met some years ago in Ethiopia, in Africa. You know, I never really had learnt her name, but I met her when I traveled to Addis Ababa as part of an eye camp that was being run by doctors there from India. She must have been about 12 years old, from a small village, and she had been blind, not from birth, but for quite a long time in her short life, without any real hope of ever being able to see again. Now you can imagine, of course, what that did to her prospects in life, her possibilities for education, for marriage, for having a family of her own. They were completely gone. But her mother had heard from some people in the village about this eye camp, and somehow she had managed to bring her, and there they were, the two of them, no shoes, 2 cotton bags holding all their belongings, having walked God knows how far to get there. Well, the doctors took a look at the girl, examined her, and then they said yes, there was hope for her and they would try. And so the next day they did the surgery, and the girl and her mother stayed in the camp for a little over a week with her eyes bandaged while they healed. And it happened that the time came to open her bandages, and I just happened to be standing there when she came back into the hospital tent with her mother to have the bandages removed and to find out what the rest of her life would really be like. Now for me, this was not my first eye camp, and I had seen this particular drama unfold a number of times all over the world. But for some reason, this time it was different, because here was a young girl alone there with her mother. It was not just her vision that was at stake, but I think it was her entire future. Would she have a chance? Would she be able to go to school, to marry, to have her own family, be independent, or would she spend the rest of her life as a burden on someone else? Well, the bandages came off one by one, and nurse was unwinding them. I think everyone standing there was just quietly praying, you know, please, please, let it have worked. Let this girl see again. And then the last bandage came off, and the nurse took the gauze off her eyes, and we all held our breath. And what happened? What happened was that the little girl, she blinked, she squinted, and then suddenly she smiled, and her face broke into the most wonderful, smile that I've ever seen, because through the haze, she realized that she could see the people around her. She was no longer blind. And as her eyes went searching through the faces gathered in front of her and found her mother's face, she shouted, "Mama." Well, I think you can imagine the scene. because the doctors were all in tears, the mother was in tears, and I must say, my eyes were wet too. And as I stood there in this hospital, makeshift hospital in Ethiopia, in the heat, perspiring, with this little girl hugging me. Me, why? Because I just happened to have been standing near her when the bandages were removed, not for any other reason. And all of us in tears, all of us in awe of at what we had just been a part of. I thought, what in the world is more important? What in the world could I possibly be doing with my time, my money, my life that is more important than this? And I think it is true that very few people here tonight perhaps have been to Addis Ababa. And yet every one of us here tonight who has given, who has supported our Rotary Foundation was part of that miracle. Because my friends, make no mistake, it was indeed a miracle. That we could bring together the skills, the talents, the knowledge, the equipment, the resources, and pack them all up and bring them to a field outside of Addis Ababa in Africa and put them there for this blind little girl to invite her in, and just like that, pick her up and her life up and turn it around and set it in a completely different direction, a direction of hope and the possibility of a normal life. Tell me, what about that is anything less than a miracle? And that, my brothers and sisters, is why we are here tonight, why we have come together for our foundation, because nothing else we could do, no other way we could use our time and our money and our resources could possibly be more important than this. The things we can do through our foundation go so far beyond what we could possibly hope to achieve alone with any amount of money, with any amount of effort. We can help the blind to see, the lame to walk, the impoverished and the illiterate to have a better future. And my brothers and my sisters, together we are working to change this world of ours from one without polio to one without polio. For so long it had seemed so far away, this goal of ours. But now, finally, we are almost there. And as you all know, India, which was long thought to be the toughest nut to crack, was just a few months ago certified to be polio-free. After a year without a single case of polio, it has been taken off the list of WHO's endemic countries. And we are now down to only 3 endemic countries. According to the most current reporting, we had a total of 55 cases of polio worldwide in 2012, down from 153 cases worldwide at the same time in 2011, which means a drop of about 2/3 in just 1 year. In Pakistan, you have had only 13 cases so far, down from 38 at this time 1 year ago. I hope and believe that it is possible that in another year we'll bring that number down to 0. If it can be done in India, as it has been, it can be done in Pakistan most certainly. Madam Shahnaz is here and she's been leading the drive to make Pakistan polio-free. And we had a few minutes of discussion just before coming down to dinner, and I realized that Pakistan is fully on track. Your past governor, Aziz Memon, has been fully on the job. I think we must be talking at least 3-4 times a week, every week for the last 1 year. And 90% of our discussion is about polio eradication in Pakistan. We are trying to work out ways, processes, methods by which we can see that the last case of polio in Pakistan has already happened. I know this will happen. Aziz Bhai, all my brothers and sisters over here, I know it will happen. I can see it happening. I see it because I remember having been fully involved with what we are doing in India, that you are perhaps on the same stage that we were in India maybe about 1.5 years ago. And I believe you are truly on your way. And I tell you, I was in Kabul about 1.5 months back, and I met the president over there. And he said, please tell me, what can I do? How can I help and work with Rotary? And we are doing the work over there. Rotary has gone all out to help in Afghanistan as well. And the way you are going about it, immunizing the children in your transportation centers, in your trains, in your buses, those who are migrating in your brick kilns or whatever, the nomads, the gypsies, that's the way. That's how the virus does get carried, believe me. You are absolutely on track. Last month we recognized President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, also the third country. Unfortunately, President Goodluck has been having a lot of bad luck recently because Nigeria continues to have polio cases. But believe me, again with Rotary, he has other political problems, he has insurgencies, he has problems that are not easy to overcome. But I think we are on our track over there as well. And to all your Rotarians over here tonight who have been supporting polio eradication for months, for years, with faith, with belief, with confidence, I offer you my felicitations because you have done what otherwise would have been almost impossible to achieve even 1 year ago. This is what Rotarians have helped to achieve through our Rotary Foundation. You know, no one has to give to the Rotary Foundation. It is not a requirement of Rotary membership. No one will throw you out of your club if you don't give to the foundation. And it is true, there are Rotarians who do not support the foundation. But at the end of the day, tell me, who comes out ahead? At the end of the day, who gets more out of their money? The Rotarians who kept their dollars in their pockets, or the ones who used them to buy happiness? Because that, my brothers and sisters, is what we are really buying. When we are giving our money to the foundation, we are buying happiness. We are buying happiness, and it is as simple as that. We are buying happiness by buying a pair of eyeglasses for a child who could not see the blackboard before. We are buying safe water for a family whose daughter could never go to school because she had to walk 4 miles every day. Or she could not go to school because the school did not have toilets, and Rotary is helping to build those toilets over there. We are buying peace of mind for the mothers and fathers who this year, for the first time ever in human history, did not have to fear the coming of polio with the coming of the monsoon rains. When I say that, I am talking of the Indian children. That, my brothers and sisters, is what we buy with the dollars that we give to the Rotary Foundation. You know, the little girl that I was talking about in Ethiopia must be a grown woman today, and I hope she is doing well. She probably is herself married by now, with young children of her own. I hope she has her own home, her own family, and she's not a burden on anyone. She's independent and has a future. And she has all of these things because of Rotarians who had cared enough to go to Ethiopia in the heat and the dust to spend some weeks over there in those inhospitable conditions to remove the cataract from the little girl's eyes. And if she has those things because of the Rotarians who gave the Rotary Foundation, who gave to the Rotary Foundation, who understood that the best thing that their money can possibly buy was a future for a little girl in Ethiopia whom they would never ever meet. My wish, my ardent desire for all of you is that you will understand that as well. Mother Teresa of Calcutta once said, "Give until it hurts." I do not say to you that this evening. All that I say, my brothers and sisters, is that give until it gives you joy, until it makes you happy. Because the real joy, the true joy, the pure joy that comes from giving to others is something that you can never, ever get in any other way. Believe me, there is no joy in the world like the joy that you can get from giving. My brothers and sisters in Rotary in District 3271, thank you for all that you do for the Rotary Foundation. Thank you for being over here. Thank you for the honor that you do to Binota and me. And the honor that you have really done to me is by giving me this cap, which I'm going to take with me to the Rotary headquarters in Evanston. And don't be surprised if you see my picture in the Rotarian magazine with this cap on. When you see that, you will remember that I was thinking of all of you. Thank you.